Okay, so hello once again, good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by Simplity, Data Intelligence Services Provider. Once again, my name is Dana Toushova. I'm VP of Marketing at Simplity, and today I invited two of our business consultants, Karel Zitny and Jan Razek, to present the topic of how shopping cart analysis can reduce cart abandonment. So topic relevant for all e-shops, I believe. And today we will learn strategies for preventing visitors from abandoning their shopping cart, then how to predict the visitor's intent to leave the shopping cart without the purchase, and last but not least, efficient strategies for e-cart recovery. Now, please sit back and enjoy the webinar, and over to you, Karle and Hanzo.
Karel, you are muted.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Dana. I'm Karel, and here in Simplity, I'm a business consultant. I have experience over 15 years in digital marketing and sales, and I've been improving performance for clients for multiple sectors, including IT, utility, fashion, electronics, and media. Honza?
My name is Jan Razek, or you can call me Honza as well. And I have experience mostly from big e-commerce companies such as eBay, where I was working on improving performance and efficiency of active customers using data analytics and data science. So as Dana has already mentioned, today's topic of the webinar is the cart abandonment and improving on the cart abandonment rate. First of all, we can divide the topics into three parts. The first one is prevention. When we talk about the prevention, we are talking about analysis of historical data and finding patterns between behavioral data and data that indicates the shopping cart abandonment. So you can find out different things, different user behavior of your customers that have done something in the initial part of the customer journey, such as on homepage, on product detail page, or on category page, that actually led to the cart abandonment in the end. The second part would be intervention. And when I talk about intervention, I mean the real-time campaigns that would be triggered during the checkout process itself, so that customers do not actually leave the cart and they continue to purchase. And the last but not least would be recovery. And this part is focused on when customer actually leaves the shopping cart. It does not really mean that everything is over, but you are entering a time window when you can actually still bring him back to the site and convince him to finalize the purchase. So these three parts will be covered by me and Karel today, more in detail. But first of all, I would like to let you know what we actually think about the cart abandonment. The cart abandonment has actually two definitions. The first one is cart abandonment itself, which means that customer inputs something into the shopping cart and then leaves without even commencing or starting the checkout process. And checkout abandonment means that he will leave during the checkout process itself. We will be talking about both of these two definitions throughout the webinar, and we will try to make sure to let you know about which one we are talking about at that exact moment. But now I would like to ask whether the shopping cart abandonment is a big deal, and I will answer shortly. Yes, it is a very big deal. The reason is that in March 2021, the cart abandonment rate worldwide, also like throughout different industries, was almost 80%. That's a very big issue. You can imagine it as you have 5 customers and only one of those customers will actually finalize the purchase and 4 of them will leave and will never purchase the item that they have put into the shopping cart. As you can see, the abandonment rate differs a lot among different industries. And when you see automotive, airlines, fashion, or luxury, the abandonment rate reaches almost 90%. That's a huge number. And the reason for it is mostly the longer decision-making process. Because when you are buying something luxurious, for example, some luxury watches, it will probably take you a little longer time before you realize that you actually need the watch And once you realize it, you will try to compare the price of these watches on your eShop, but also on a couple of other eShops, so that you know that you are getting definitely the best deal. On the other hand, when we take a look at groceries, consumer electronics, pharmaceuticals, or cosmetics, the shopping cart abandonment is much lower, since the decision-making process is also not as complex. But now, what do you think are the most or biggest reasons why customers actually abandon the shopping carts? If you have any guesses, feel free to write them in the chat and I will take a look whether you have the correct ones. And in the meantime, I will let you know that I have found out two interesting studies, one from UK and the other one, too many steps. Yeah, that's a very good guess, Mohammed. Thank you very much. And yes, it's on the screen, definitely. Creating a wish list, registration. Yeah, all of them are very good guesses. So I guess I can already jump to our answers. They changed their opinion. Amazing. Yeah, all of them are very good. Trust factor, also very good. So in the UK in 2018, in the study, they have found out that 39% of users actually leave the shopping cart because of the delivery charges. That means that even on one hand, customers might have expected that delivery would be free, so they wanted to have the free delivery. On the other hand, also they might be willing to pay for the delivery, but they found out during the last step that actually there are some delivery charges, which was a surprise for them, and maybe because of that they decided to leave the shopping cart. The next one is user was just browsing. I think that was one of the guesses, so you are not surprised by that, I think. And the last is the item wasn't in stock. That's problem with data, because I think that the e-commerce site might have done much better job showing that they don't really have item on stock, but maybe the integration between the data of items in stock wasn't really well connected with those that are being shown on the website to customers. When we compare it to the US results, we can see that on the first place, we again have extra costs being too high. So it's not only delivery charges here, but also some additional taxes and additional fees. But it's one of the biggest reasons, not one of the biggest, it's the biggest reasons actually. Then the site was demanding users to create an account. I think that also was one of the guesses, that the site wanted the user to register. And the third one is delivery was too slow. I think that somebody said that there were too many steps, and in the US study that was actually number 4, so that was also a very good guess. All right. So as I was saying, today's webinar is going to have 3 parts. In the first part, Karel will actually walk you through eShop customer experience. So that's everything leading to the checkout process and what can be influenced so that customers on one hand do not leave and on the other hand do not abandon the shopping cart. The second part, which I will cover, is e-cart, and we will be talking what real-time campaigns can be triggered so that customers stick around in the e-cart and finalize the purchase. And the last part will be about e-cart recovery, and Karel will let you know what campaigns can be triggered so that they effectively bring the customer back to the shopping cart. Karel, you can take it over.
Thank you, Honza. So let's see now use case 1, where we are going to get you to the homepage of the site. And you can also land to the landing pages, but I picked this one as for the first timers, because when you land on a homepage and something goes awry, then you will leave and bounce from the homepage and you basically go out. So what kind of data we usually can use for personalization, or any way how to prevent our customers of churn, are usually third-party data, usually from campaigns, and also some kind of top products from transactional data, discounts, usually from management preference, and some kind of special data like weather, geolocation, and others. What we can use from the algorithms or from the analysis are lookalike analysis, pricing analysis, and for sure we need to have the right data quality and also data integration. And basically what we are going to speak throughout the whole webinar is basically custom matching and customer data. So why I was talking about the homepage and the first timers is that when we move to use case 2A, then when you move to another part of the website, you may find out that some of the websites or e-shops are not so well prepared, and you might appear again on a homepage from different reasons. And then we know basically even those guys who are already first visited our website when they browse through various pages, and we can start collecting behavior data. In this case, we are able to do quite interesting changes in their in what they see, what products they see, what we can recommend them. So now I would ask you, Honza, to go to the our demo website, and now we can see that if we scroll down to our personalization, we can see there, let's say, 2 lines. I would ask you to go to the second line, and then, for instance, we can get we would like to buy some shoes. So in this case, we'll click on a shoes. We can get to the detail of the product, but when I compare it to the known users, what we see, we can go to the more relevant recommendations, meaning that if we going to go as a known user, then probably you would browse the other shoes, and we can see then cross-sells and maybe upsells for the products. In the moment, yeah. So maybe, yeah, that's it. So over here you can see this different view. So first time when you get to the page, you will see maybe jacket, you will see shoes, you will see some bag, and when you browse, we can start collecting data, and based on your data, we can recommend you that you browsed, in this case, most likely white colored shoes, black shoes, and we added upsell of socks. So it's kind of easy example, but it of course can be much more complicated. What is really important, if I can ask you, Honza, to go back to slide 13, where we have a use case 1B. Thank you. Then we can have a very crucial for this is customer 360 view and really good segmentation, and also transactional data to have a good shape, and also behavior data. So what are the next path of what people are browsing or users are browsing on our e-store? So if we may go to use case 2, where are the product category pages, there usually our users are trying to pick some of the goods we are offering, and we need to somehow empathize and try them to click on a products and get them into our shopping basket. This is usually done by some kind of tricks we are using. So it could be like time pressure offers, meaning that you will count down that the offer is expiring in, let's say, 20 minutes. Or maybe sometimes even 5 minutes. Sometimes that is just a few last pieces of the stock in stock, and you can also sort out the catalog, meaning that you can basically sort your stock based on how users are going through the web store, and by the behavior data and transactional data. And also you can offer them cross-sells and upsells. And As already shown at a product detail, we can see possibility to show the user if there's so many impressions, how many users are looking at the particular product, so we can create another agency to put the product into the basket. And in this time, when we are on a detail of the product, we can also use exit intent survey, because if in this moment the user is basically quits from the website, we can do this exit intent survey and ask them why. So in some cases they will tell us, and on basis of these surveys we can prepare better customer journey and better experience for our customers. So maybe we can take a look how we have it on our website there. So here you can see that probably some 20% discount is there. We can have also a countdown how many users are watching. Just note that if we are mixing data on a front end, it's not sometimes easy, and sometimes, well, in many cases, from my experience, it can trigger that your site does not have so much views to do this kind of features. So be ready that you need to really think about where you place these, let's say, call to actions or time pressure overlays. Okay, so what are then like some kind of the winning points for our customer experience summary? Concerning the use case effectivity, it's very important to have a single point of truth in the data, meaning that you can basically combine the data the way that we are talking about customer, and we know about customer most of the things what we know about him. I mean, like meaning like behavior data, transactional data. Also, we need to have at one place all the algorithms working behind and be ready to serve some kind of overlays or be ready to push it to the emails or any other communication. And also we have to have really good customer segmentation, and we need to really work with customer segments, not only just on the side of the marketing, where you're creating your audiences for the marketing campaigns, but also include this and have it also in data as basically one again single point of truth. And also you need to have very good integration, because I know that maybe you're also using many tools to improve your e-commerce. And in this case, you need to really think how these tools are connected together so they create the best performance for your users. And from non-data, what is the most important are call to actions, meaning that if you have the best connection of your database and you just gonna serve not engaging call to action, well, unfortunately, your customers, well, your users won't turn to customers. Also, you need to have a good UX or UI, because then when you are failing with your UX, and so basically users do not like to browse your pages, they will leave and buy with competitors. It's very important. And then you need to A/B test, meaning that you need to really do everyday data analytics and web analytics to see what of your campaigns does work, what does not work. And also you can see here many other points you should check. And I just pointed out three, the most important as we experience from a data perspective and from non-data perspective. Honza?
Thanks, Karel. So yes, the second part of e-card of the webinar is regarding the e-card. And when you are actually in the e-card, when the checkout process begins, the first thing that you need to do is to predict the abandoned cart intent. There are two main ways how you can do it. You can do it either through real-time intent detection, or you can try and use some AI and machine learning for this. Let's stick with the real-time intent detection for now. I have outlined three main exit intents that I like quite a lot. So the first one is an aggressive movement to the X button of the website, so you know that the customer actually wants to leave. The second one is being idle for too long, meaning that the customer is doing nothing with her or his mouse. And the third one, which I like the most, is highlighting of the product name. That means that the customer actually wants to copy the name and then input it either into Google search or into directly or competitor e-commerce site. In order to find out these exit intents, you need to have real-time triggered scenarios. As Karel has mentioned, you definitely need to have single point of truth for your data in order to set up these real-time triggered scenarios. And when you have it, you can actually do something with that. You can have like a next phase, what you can do. That can be either some overlay pop-ups or, for example, chat pop-ups, but I will get to that a little bit later. So the next way how to tackle the exit intent detection is with using AI and machine learning. And there you can take two approaches. The first one is through products or categories, and the second one through user action or user behavior. So when you take a look at the product, you would find out which products that users actually put into the cart are being left in the cart at the end. You would take a look at the probability of these products being left there, and you would create algorithm based on that, which you would implement to the website and let it learn by itself so that the predictions get better and better, and they will know when it's the best time to set up or trigger the real-time campaign. When it comes to the user actions or user behavior, the approach is very similar. So first of all, you analyze some user actions that users have done in the past on your website. For example, it can be clicking on the help button, but many more. And you will find a correlation between that specific user action and that specific user actually leaving the shopping cart at the end. You can also combine these two algorithms and create one specific that would be able to take a look at both the product cart abandonment rate as well as user cart abandonment rate. But now imagine that you work for About You Germany and you are a product owner for shopping cart. So you know that you have made 734.5 million American dollars last year in your net sales. And you know that your cart abandonment rate was around 88.57%. And your goal is to actually decrease this number so that more people actually convert from shopping cart to actually making the purchase. At the moment, that number is 11.43%. So you can do three main things. The first one is UX improvement. As we have heard from Karel in the beginning and also from the studies conducted in UK and US, the biggest reasons why users leave the shopping cart are delivery fees. So you need to make sure that the delivery fees are being presented to the customer as soon as possible in the checkout process, or you need to have the delivery fees set at 0. That does not mean that customers would not pay the delivery. It only means that you would increase the prices of products a little bit so that the delivery fees would be priced in the product cost. The second thing is the price of goods. Like overall, you need to have like all of the fees and taxes included as soon as possible in the process so that the customer is not surprised when he or she reaches the final step of the checkout process. And overall, the process should be as similar as easy as possible. That means not that many steps. So like 3 or 4 steps are ideal for the shopping cart. And it's also great to have like a progress bar somewhere so that customer knows whether he's in first, second, or third step. The next thing that can be done are overlays. I have mentioned them a little bit, so they are very much connected with the exit intent. And once you predict that the customer is going to leave, you can trigger these overlays and you can show different things to the customers. So the first one is time-limited offers. You can give him or her discount, which would be time-limited. You can offer free shipping if you don't offer it as standard. And you can offer, for example, money-back guarantee, which from our experience is something that customers really need to see at this stage of their customer journey, because they need to be reassured that if that product that they are about to purchase is not fitting them, for example, or they don't like it, they can freely return it and they will get their money back without any issues. The last thing, which also is very much connected to the exit intent, is chat. So if you have a person that belongs to customer segment which requires maybe a little bit more attention during the checkout process and they need to be led through it, you can find it out through the exit intent scenarios and also through customer segmentation. You can trigger the chat functionality and you can just ask the customer if he or she needs any additional help. So let's take a look how this can look on the eShop itself. So I'm browsing for something. I can see these trainers. I like them. So I will select the size. My size is probably 43. So I will put it into the cart. And yeah, I'm taking a look. It looks more or less okay. So 80 euros. And you can see that there is a pop-up with chat functionality asking me whether I need any help. I think I can manage on my own at the moment, so I will click this and I will continue in the checkout process. Okay, so I will select, for example, this Simply Use stores where I want to have the item delivered. Less than €1 for that, it's fine. And I want to pay online, so I will select this one. But now when I'm taking a look at the final price, it's almost 81 euros. It's quite a lot. So maybe I will take a look at other e-stores, whether they have this particular trainers for a cheaper price. So I move my mouse there. And as you can see, I receive a discount of 10%. So at this stage, for myself as Dale Cooper, that's something that actually helps me to make the decision much faster and stay on the website and finalize the purchase. So I'll take the discount, and I can see that it's already priced in. So I like that, and I will complete the order. So that's how it can look like in the real life, very simply. But now let's take a look on what we need to do with the data so that the experience is that smooth. So when it comes to the UX improvements, we need to take a look mostly at heat maps and web analytics. In both of these, let's say, tools, we can take a look at call to actions that drew customer attention. We can take a look at call to action buttons that have been clicked by customers. And we can also find out from which landing pages customers actually arrived to the checkout process. These things are very much important for the UX designers and for UX improvement. And once you get some interesting insights, you can actually play with that and you can set up different A/B tests so that you find the most optimal way for the customer. The second things are the overlays. And when it comes to them, we need to make sure that we have the integrations set up as well as possible. Because if the integrations between different tools and databases are not optimal, the latency of the pop-up will be probably too high, and maybe the pop-up would appear to those customers who don't actually need it. By that, I mean that the AI or machine learning algorithm would not have enough data, and because of that, it would predict some customer to finalize the purchase, even though that, for example, he might not, if we would give him that algorithm additional data that would actually result in that. It's also very nice to have some basic personalization in the overlays, both in overlays and in chat. You might have seen it in our Simply You eShop, as I was showing. And lastly, it's important to have data quality in order, because if you don't, it might be possible that you have, for example, 3 Dale Coopers in your database. For each of them, you have different data sets. And due to that, you can never provide the best personalization or best pop-up experience in the checkout. And you might be also losing your money because you might be offering discounts to customers who don't need it. And when it comes to chat, I have already mentioned it a little bit, so it's great to have customer segmentation before you are triggering the chat functionality to everyone, because some people require the additional assistance and some don't. And once you have the customer segmentation done correctly, we can create some decision trees for you that would be working like behind the chat functionality, and the customer would be chatting with this AI or machine learning algorithm, which is usually enough. And no like real life people might need to be involved in this chat. So let's imagine that we have done all of these 3 things, and we come back to our example of About You Germany. We are 100% sure that if all of these 3 things are done correctly, we can increase the shopping cart to conversion rate at least by 1%. By that, I mean that we can decrease the abandonment rate at least by 1%. We think that we would be able to improve this even more, but let's stick to that 1% for now. So the annual net sales, if we decrease the shopping cart abandonment rate by 1%, are now almost at 800 million American dollars. That's relatively a lot, but let's compare it to the numbers before in year 2021. So before it was $734.5 million. Now it's almost $800 million. So that 1% decrease in abandonment rate resulted in 8.7% increase in net sales, which in the case of About You Germany would be almost 65 million American dollars. So I think that's really worth that investment because like relatively small change can result in relatively big amounts of dollars actually made for About You Germany. That would be it regarding e-card, and I think we can move to Karel's e-card recovery.
Great, thank you very much, Honza. So you can start also putting your questions in the chat. Thank you, Jenny. And Thomas, so very soon I will answer Thomas' question because it really goes towards what I'm going to talk about. So when we take a look at the e-card recovery, we have several traditional or less traditional ways how to do that. So I will start and I will do the use case on an email, which is like a traditional one. I just want to point out with the emails that's very important the timing when we are going to send the email, and also it's very important the integration among the data, particularly the email triggers which pushing the email to you. It needs to be done properly. Also, the email needs to have a proper setup, so it's not going into your spam. So for everyone, it looks like obvious, but to be honest, emails are not really the easiest way, and depends on many ways. So please be careful about that because it's not going like really like easy peasy thing. Then it's another kind of a, I would say even a minefield, which is remarketing ads and advertisement. I don't know you guys, but how many times, well, probably you can just put X in a chat. How many of you experienced that you have bought some product on an e-store and someone had advertised it for a month to you, so you can buy it. So just let's see how many X's we will get, because I'll put the X for sure myself. And I have it at least like once, twice a year. And that's because the data are disconnected between the media campaigns and audiences with data on your e-store. So yeah, I see that another participants has joined my experience. So it's also not really clear to many e-stores how to do that. And then that's a really nice thing. What already was a question of Thomas. Just take a look on the chat. How to leverage push notifications to reduce cart abandonment. Well, yeah, push notifications can be very effective, but unfortunately, not many people are using it. Why? First is that it's a kind of a challenge to do right. Opt-in for notifications, because usually you will get just kind of a pop-up on the top of the page. It's like, do you want to receive notifications or not? And everybody puts their no for sure. And that's probably the main blocker, because nobody's does it the way that, and it's my hint, or tip for you how to do it, that you will do the question for the all screen with kind of overlay, and you will not offer the customer the notification or notification campaign, because they're quite allergic to it, but you offer service instead. But you need to think what service is meaningful for the client, and how it then is connected to the shopping cart. Because when you go for the emails, you always go like for e-store recovery with the emails, and meaning that you are able to focus only on your current clients, and it's only 2 to 3% of all history usually. But when you go for notifications, you might get, my best guess is about 10 to 15% of all guys to be in notification audiences. Then when the client going to close your e-store in a browser, and he's browsing still in his browser other web stores or another URLs, you can then fire the notification, and the timing is again the key. So you can do through the push notifications also very effective cart abandonment scenarios, but it's really connected how you're looking at the push notifications, and unfortunately it's minor thing how the stores are doing it. So I hope that I have answered properly the question of Thomas. And then we have overlays. What I want to mention is that we need to find out a way how to know what our customers missed during their session. And like the way how to do that is either do it through the chat, which is really good also for the elderly users, as Honza mentioned. Also, we can do it through the overlays, which is somewhat on an edge of his scenarios, and many other ways. And what we want to ask them. So let's go to see first scenario in a slide 20. This one on slide 26, when we see the shopping cart recovery. So how it goes is that basically you combine transactional behavior data, you have integration, and you pop up this recovery email. And the second is the use case 2 with shopping cart survey. And then you can ask either questions, if I may ask Honza for the use case 2 or already over there for shopping cart survey. Thank you. And then you can ask or text like open-ended questions. So what you miss in our e-store, like what would convince you to finish shopping with us? So you can get actually the tips or maybe even users can tell you what's wrong with your e-store you haven't realized before. But it's a little bit tricky because you need to go through all these responses, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming. So you can also consider the radio buttons over there for the better usage. And now Honza can show just how it goes with shopping cart recovery usually on the site. So we will click here our trainers. We will go then to the shopping cart, and then we will go to see we will try basically to leave this shopping cart because we don't like price whatever. We will get back, for instance, to Google main page, and in some time you will get the email, so you can imagine how it goes. And of course, you can put there whatever you want, like cross sells. You can even give another voucher to your customers to get them back into the game and finish the purchase as soon as possible. And the second is about the survey. So basically, when you're going usually on a top of your top part of your site, it might be that you wanna close the browser. Depends if it's on Windows on right side and on Mac it's on left side. Doesn't matter where is it, but usually it's on the top side. And then this overlay will pops up, and you will get more from your customers for your campaigns. Honza?
Thanks, Karel. So the last part of this webinar is only like a conclusion regarding the data analysis. So here on this slide, you can actually see like most of the analysis that we have talked about during this webinar. For most of them, you need basic data about orders, about products. For some of them, it's very good to have some information about the customers and about their personal characteristics. That's, for example, the customer segmentation. Otherwise, we are not able to do that. From like another one, for example, customer matching, we need to have the orders and behavior data from more than one source. Otherwise, the customer matching service does not really make sense. And I would like to stress out that more the data you have, the better algorithms we can actually provide to you, because we are able to create like more, we are able to go more in detail, and the predictions will be much better if you have more data. Also, we were mentioning a lot of time like single customer view or single source of truth. And on this slide, I would like to like demonstrate what we meant by that. So we have the customer in the center of everything which is happening with the data. We are getting the inputs on one side from all the channels that the customer might be interacting with. So from homepage, from calls, from social media, also from some internal tools such as CRM or invoices, etc. And obviously we are using this data in order to achieve something. So it can allow us to achieve some of our business goals. For example, it can improve the churn rate. It can prevent the customers from churning. It can also increase the revenues that our eShop is generating. And last but not least, it can also decrease the cart abandonment rate, which is our topic today. It can also let us drive business decisions. So since we have that many information about single customer and we can take a look at as many customers as we want, we are able to better allocate the finances and invest in parts of the business which are the most crucial based on the data. We are also able to implement new technologies and focus more, for example, on AI and machine learning, which is becoming bigger and bigger trend. When it comes to our ways of working here at Simplity, we usually start with data audit. So if you would be interested in our services, we would probably start with some consultations. We would like talk about the KPIs and ROI of the project that we will be working on for you. And we would assess the credibility risks both for us and for yourself. Next, we would take a look at the data themselves. We would do some basic profiling. We would check your data quality, and we would try to understand as much as possible your data environment. So mostly integrations that you have in between different data sets and your tools. Based on that, we would be also able to adjust the goals of our project. Then data analysis, that's like the biggest part for us. That's where most of our work is being done. And we would work on the analysis that we would agree on. What we would like agree during the consultation would move the needle for you as much as possible. So it can be either the segmentations, market basket analysis, customer matching, or intent detection. And lastly, we would implement those algorithms on your side, and we would trigger together with you some A/B testing so that both of us know whether our work was actually beneficial and how much the performance actually increased in the end. That would be more or less it for us. Only to conclude, I have some key takeaways here. So if you will focus on prevention, intervention, and recovery in your e-cart management, you would definitely improve your cart abandonment rate by relatively a lot, and you would probably do quite a good job. So that would be all from my side. And I think we can move on to the questions and answers. I, for example, saw a question from Jennifer, so I can read it out loud and I can actually answer it. So it was, is it more effective to trigger overlay or chat window during the checkout process? So that definitely depends. It depends mostly on what you are actually showing in the overlay to your customers. But when you have discount included in the overlay, most probably the overlay will be more effective than the chat functionality. Nevertheless, I cannot say it for sure because it depends like case by case. And also it's best to do some A/B testing. So you can try both actually on your side, and you will see which one of those options is actually performing better, and then you will see what you want to scale.
Maybe one note in the meantime, I also enabled cameras, or you are able now to switch on your cameras and microphones. So if you prefer to ask the questions directly, feel free to raise your hand in the reaction icon and ask the question. And we have also a question from Mohammed and Tomasz, I believe. So
Yeah, good to see so many questions. Thank you, Dana. And as I see, Mohammed is asking that in case of email follow-ups, what should be the frequency of those emails? Well, it depends on if you are doing kind of outreach as from the cold read, or if you are already connected with your potential client through the website. I would recommend that with the outreach, you would go for, let's say, about 5 interactions, and then that doesn't matter if it's email, if it's some kind of starting meaningful conversation on a LinkedIn, then go, for instance, send for kind of a white paper or do the webinar, and then just have a meaningful conversation with your client. Or when you go with already known client, I think it's a little bit a waste of time to send him many emails or many interactions. I would go for the goals like that you need to get from your potential client to the phone. So I would send meaningful email with request for the phone number, and then would call him right away, because it from my point of view makes much more sense, and see what actually your potential client wants. And concerning the creative and layouts and language, it's very important, because if you are going to go up to the point, when I was in worldwide digital agencies, we will be able to increase the click rate and open rate by good design by, let's say, 20 to 30%. So it's very important. But much more important than this is also to communicate with clients which are active. So I would go first, be on your position to go to your data and find out how many clients you have in a database which are active. It's a little bit trick because when you communicating with active customers, you will get also much better results, right? So you can report it to your superiors. So thank you, Mohammed, for a very good question. Hope that it helps. Honza?
Yeah, I would maybe add on that. Not sure if Mohammed meant the question in this way, but for example, if we are talking about recovery emails, it's really important to send those in timely manner, as Karel was mentioning. So to send them as soon as possible so that the customer can click on them and get back to the eShop. And I believe that after that the first time window is, let's say, a couple of minutes. So let's say 5 minutes. And then you can send another email in like a week's time. So you can try it. Maybe some of them will still like get caught and they will come back to your website, but the probability will be quite minimal, I think. And then it also depends how you use the email marketing overall. Maybe you can be using it for the C2C marketing of your e-commerce site. And then again, it depends on the segment that you want to communicate with. For example, you can have some segment that does not really shop on your website anymore. And you can try to activate them with the help of email marketing. And in this way, you can send them email, for example, once or twice a week. And even though that you would be quite a lot spamming those users, it does not really matter because they are not active customers anymore.
Yeah, and I see that Mohammed have followed it up 4 hours, 24 and 78 hours. And yes, well, in this case, it's I think, well, it's good. And I would expect that you would just try to change this kind of follow-ups and do I/B testing. So what is the best results, and you will see yourself, because like every website is a little bit specific, and we need to go to data and go through your offers.
Mohammed, if it's more comfortable for you, you can ask also directly. Okay. Okay, understood. So thanks for the additional details. Yeah, I believe the A/B testing is definitely crucial in this, and testing the various approaches in terms of creatives and cadence of the follow-up. Yeah, so makes sense. Okay, I can. Maybe if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. And maybe meanwhile, I will ask. Honzo, you were speaking about the intent detection in the e-card. Would you recommend implementing real-time intent detection, or rather use AI or machine learning for this?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I would definitely start with the real time. I think that's much easier to implement it and to create the scenarios. So when we consider the workload that you need to input in creating like these intents, I think it makes most sense to start with these. And then if you have like additional time, money that you want to invest actually in this, we can try and experiment with the AI and machine learning. And again, we have mentioned it a couple of times. Then the A/B tests come in play, and we need to A/B test like both of these options and find out the performance of which is actually better.
Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? It seems that not. So in the meantime, as I said at the beginning, we will share the recording with you after the webinar, either via email or via LinkedIn message, depending on the way how you registered for the webinar. Part of the email will be also a link for booking a meeting with Karel and Jan, in case you would like to have more details or would like to discuss your particular scenario or ways how to improve the cart abandonment. So feel free to use this opportunity. And yeah, let's check if there are any more questions. It seems that not. So maybe thank you, Karel, thank you, Honzo, for the nice webinar. I believe it was really insightful. Hopefully it will help our attendees to achieve better results in the eShop, and hopefully see everyone at our next webinar, maybe next month. So we will try to keep the cadence of having the webinars for you ready every month. And I can see that Mohammed is writing. Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much for everybody who has been attending this webinar. Thank you very much, and for the questions as well.
Thank you for all, and have a great rest of the day. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.